The capital has a storied past. It's been home to the authors of Treasure Island, Trainspotting, the #1 ladies detective agency, and to the man who wrote Rob Roy and is remembered in this monument. Guide Chris Walker put us in the picture.
Chris, the structure is quite spectacular. Why is it so popular?
It dominates the skyline of Edinburgh. From nearly everywhere in the city you can see this building, and it sits about 60 metres above sea level, so it's very high up, of course. So the Scott Monument, it was built because of a guy called Sir Walter Scott who passed away in 1832. Now, he was actually the most famous writer in the English language for a large part of the early 1800s. Now, he ended up dying in 1832, and after he died, people in Edinburgh basically wanted to build something to commemorate his achievements. So this is what they built.
Do they still allow people in? Can we go see it?
We are indeed. It's a long climb. Are you feeling energetic today?
Sure.
After Scott's death, an architectural competition was launched for designers to submit their vision for a tribute monument. And it was this dramatic Gothic masterpiece which was chosen.
I absolutely love the architecture in Edinburgh. It's so rich in culture.
Well, yeah, definitely. So there are a lot of really amazing buildings here in Edinburgh, Lorna. Edinburgh Castle just behind us here. It's one of the oldest buildings in the city, and there has been a castle here since roughly the 1100s. And behind us over here, you've got the Balmoral Hotel. Now, the clock tower on that hotel since 1902 has always been 3 minutes fast. And the reason for that is simply that the company that built the hotel, they also built the nearby train station, and they did not want people missing the trains.
Now, the attention to detail is absolutely immaculate.
Absolutely. So there are about 60 statues on this one monument, and each statue is a different character from the various novels, poems that Scott himself wrote.
Just before Sir Walter Scott passed away, Tanqueray gin was born. And to master distiller Terry Fraser, the new varieties are like rich, complex characters.
I'm super excited about this because I've never tried any of these gins, so it's going to be a fun tasting. What are we starting with?
We're going to start with Malacca. Now, Malacca has the 4 key botanicals again. We also added peppercorns, rose, cardamom to create Malacca. And it just gives it something different. It's very complex, but it brings along something different and spicy.
Amazing. And what came after that?
Tanqueray Rampur. And that's made with rare Rampur limes, which originally were sourced from India. Again, we add in the distillations your 4 core botanicals of Tanqueray and the Dry, and along with that we add in bay leaf, we add in ginger, and then the last part of that distillation is add in the rare Rampur limes, and that just gives it a real zesty note. So next, Lorna, and it's actually really exciting times for us at the moment, we've actually produced Florida Sevilla. Again, that was inspired through Charles Tanqueray's recipes. He speaks about using Seville oranges in his recipe. So they're sourced from the sunny climates in Spain to bring along that nice bittersweet orange taste, and we also add orange blossom into that as well.
Terry and his liquid innovation team work with many chefs in pairing gins with dishes. And South African chef Nico Ewart happens to be a master of the art.
Chef Nico, it's always amazing to see South Africans do great things overseas. What brings you to Scotland?
What brought me to Scotland was New Year's Eve about 20 years ago. Just fell in love with Edinburgh as a city and never left.
I believe you've curated an amazing menu. What are we starting with?
We're going to start with some salmon, just some lovely smoked salmon Scotland's famous for. We're going to treat it very simply and just do a little dressing over the top. We're going to work with the sweetness of the gin with a little bit of the aromatics and then some bitterness with grapefruit and with the olive there. The real secret is the juice that the olives come in. So if you add a little bit of that, it's going to tie the whole lot together.
Surrounded on 3 sides by the oceans, Scotland is known for its seafood, and especially for scallops, which many people know as clams.
I've made a little hollandaise earlier on, but used blood orange, so reduced blood orange puree. Wow. And that's going to tie this whole dish together and really go with the Seville.
Oh, you know what, Chef Nico, I don't know how I'm coping because I'm literally salivating. I'm getting so hungry. Okay, so what's the last dish that we're preparing?
Okay, Lorna, so next is the beef.
Okay.
But it's a little bit backwards.
All right.
So instead of cooking it in the oven, after we've sealed it, we've cooked it very, very slowly in the oven for a very long time, and we're going to seal it now.
Okay, so what do you need me to do?
So the pan over there, put a little bit of oil.
Okay.
And then add the beef.
Scotland is where Angus beef hails from. Adding butter to brown and seal the cut. Thyme and garlic is added to the pan to release its full flavor.
Okay, Lorna, so next we make the sauce.
All right.
So this one's loosely based on a chimichurri.
Okay.
So it'll go really well with the rangpur. So first we're going to add some dry mint. It's very important to use dry mint. It's quite traditional with chimichurri, and a little bit of salt.
All right.
And then some boiling hot water. So we can add a little bit of sugar to counterbalance the acidity and also to go with the gin.
Well, that's an interesting touch.
Anytime you want to try an approach other than braaiing your steak, this is a recipe well worth using.
Chef Nico, it was absolutely amazing to see you working in the kitchen. Now let's talk about this first dish. How did you go about pairing it with the Malacca cocktail?
Used the juniper that's in the gin to match across with the salmon, so we're using that as the common thread between the two, and then sort of sweet and sour and sweet and bitter ingredients in both of them, and hopefully will tie all the way through and cut through the richness.
It really highlights the olives, the grapefruit and that fruity olive oil.
The Tanqueray Seville is one of 4 new gins developed by Terry Fraser, and for Chef Nico, scallops are a perfect match.
So we're taking that natural orange flavor and pulling it in together. It's also got a little bit of sweetness, so with the butter sauce and the little bits of orange and fennel, it really should highlight the sweetness of the scallops as well.
Both gin and seafood bring out the best in each other.
Oh man, that literally took it from here to the next level.
She'd kept space for the beef.
We've taken the rangpur as a martini, and the bay leaf flavor in the rangpur will really work with the herbs in the dressing and the chimichurri, and that should work with this beef, this beautiful grass-fed beef, really beautifully.
That chimichurri really does bring the entire dish together and balances so well with this particular gin. You know what, Chef Nico, it's been fun, it's been exciting, it's been educating, it's given me bragging rights, so which is pretty amazing. I can't wait to come back to Scotland. I've had so much fun, and you know what? I wish all my friends back in South Africa the best of luck, because I'm going to be talking about this iconic brand for the next couple of years. Cheers.
Cheers.